My husband's family showed up unannounced weeks after I gave birth. They just played with the baby and refused to do anything else. When I finally snapped and told them off, my husband came home and screamed that he'd divorce me if I didn't apologize. I had a C-section 3 weeks before they showed up. It wasn't planned. The baby's heart rate dropped during labor and they rushed me into surgery within 8 minutes. I was awake for all of it. The recovery was brutal. I couldn't stand up straight for the first 2 weeks. I couldn't lift anything heavier than the baby. I couldn't drive, couldn't bend, couldn't do laundry or carry groceries or clean the bathroom. I was up every 2 hours at night feeding and my stitches were still healing. My husband Craig went back to work after 10 days. He said his boss wouldn't give him more time and that he'd already used all his PTO. He told me not to worry because his mother and sisters would step in to help with everything. He said it like it was already settled, like he'd arranged some kind of schedule. He hadn't. Nobody called me to ask when to come. Nobody texted to see what I needed. His mother Rhonda and his 2 sisters Tammy and Jolene showed up together on a Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. without calling first. I was in a bathrobe with milk stains on the collar and bags under my eyes so deep I looked like a different person. I was trying to eat toast with one hand while the baby slept on my chest. They walked in and Rhonda immediately picked up the baby. "Oh, she's perfect. Look at that face." Tammy took the baby next, then Jolene. They passed her around like a football for 20 minutes while I stood in the kitchen still holding my toast. Nobody asked how I was feeling. Nobody asked about the surgery. Nobody asked what I needed. They just wanted to hold the baby. By noon, the sink was full of dishes from breakfast and the bottles I'd been washing by hand because our dishwasher broke the week before. The living room had burp cloths and blankets everywhere. The trash needed to go out. I hadn't showered in 2 days. Rhonda was on the couch taking selfies with the baby. Tammy was on her phone. Jolene was eating crackers from my pantry and scrolling through TV channels. I asked if anyone could help me with the dishes while the baby was sleeping. Rhonda looked up. "We're here to spend time with the baby, not to be your cleaning crew." I blinked. "I just had surgery 3 weeks ago. I can barely stand at the sink for 5 minutes." Tammy didn't even look up from her phone. "Craig should hire someone if you need help that bad. Craig said you were coming to help. We're helping by being here for the baby. That's what grandmothers and aunts do." I went to the bedroom and closed the door. I sat on the edge of the bed and tried not to cry because crying made my incision hurt. When I came out an hour later, Rhonda had changed the baby's outfit into something she'd brought from her car. A frilly dress 2 sizes too big with a headband that covered half the baby's face. The baby was screaming. I took her back and changed her into something that fit. Jolene said I was being ungrateful. That's when something in me broke open. I put the baby in her bassinet, turned around, and looked at all 3 of them. I had a C-section 21 days ago. My husband went back to work and told me his family would help. "You've been here for 5 hours. You haven't washed a single dish. You haven't taken out the trash. You haven't asked me once how I'm doing. You showed up without calling, rearranged my baby, took selfies for 2 hours, and told me to hire a maid. That's not helping. That's visiting. And I didn't invite visitors." Rhonda stood up. "We drove 40 minutes to see that baby. And in 40 minutes you could have loaded the dishwasher. I didn't come here to be insulted. And I didn't have a baby to be your photo opportunity." They left within 10 minutes. Rhonda called Craig before she even pulled out of the driveway. When Craig came home at 6, he didn't ask how I was. He didn't ask about the baby. He walked in the door already angry. My mother called me in tears at work. "What did you say to her?" I told him exactly what I said, word for word. "You kicked out my family." I told them the truth. They came to hold the baby, not help me. They drove 40 minutes and did nothing for 5 hours. "You need to call my mother right now and apologize." "For what?" "For embarrassing her in front of my sisters." "I asked for help with the dishes, Craig. She told me she wasn't my cleaning crew." He stared at me. "If you don't apologize by tomorrow, I'm calling a lawyer." "You're threatening to divorce me because I asked your mother to wash a plate?" "I'm telling you that disrespecting my family has consequences." I looked at him for a long time. Then I picked up the baby, went to the bedroom, and locked the door. I called my sister and told her everything. She drove over the next morning and didn't leave for 2 weeks. She washed dishes, did laundry, and held the baby while I slept for the first time in a month. Craig never apologized. Every time he mentions his mother coming over, the answer is no.